fired at two Minneapolis police officers tonight. Two suspects are in jail.
Peace is just around the corner, but unrest in the occupied territories of Israel leaves two young Palestinians dead.
Eyewitness News is coming up next.
About your brakes. It could be the shoes, it might be the drums. It definitely ain't stopping on a dime. And Smitty's recommending a complete brake job, Miss Johnson.
Ken from Amico Certicare. The technician tells me all you need are new brake pads.
You are looking at beaucoup bucks.
Car's ready. Those new brake pads did the job.
Amico Certicare, the certified repair center. You expect more from a leader.
It's closeout time at Wally McCarthy's Pontiac in White Bear Lake. And the two hottest cars, the Grand Am and the Bonneville, have the hottest deals. Right now, get $2,000 off any new Grand Am, or get $1,000 off and 3.9% financing. What about a new Bonneville? Get $3,000 off, or get $2,250 off and 3.9% financing. The hottest deals on the hottest cars. It's closeout time at Wally McCarthy's Pontiac in White Bear Lake.
Remember your first project? Knox knows that feeling. Like the first time you hammered a nail in, straight. The smell of fresh cut wood. The thickness of pure white paint. It all starts at Knox, where we've been helping you with your projects for over 60 years. With quality products and low prices from people who know what they sell. When your next project rolls around, it's Knox. We work to make your job easier.
This is KSTP Channel 5, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Live from your 24-hour news channel. This is Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight, two arrests in the murder of a Lino Lakes group home worker.
Yeah, first, the murder suspect who's only 14 years old, and second, a 29-year-old woman who's apparently a friend of the suspect. Authorities say she acted as an accomplice after the fact. Now, the fact was a senseless murder of a young woman who worked at a home for developmentally disabled adults. 23-year-old Dawn Halderson always wanted to help people. Family members say that's why she was taking college classes in sociology and why she'd taken a job at this group home in Lino Lakes. Dawn was the overnight staff person, and sometime late Thursday night or early Friday morning, someone fired a shot through the home's window. The bullet struck and killed Dawn as she was sitting on a couch watching TV. Now authorities believe they know who that someone is.
At approximately 11 p.m. that night, investigators arrested a 14-year-old juvenile male suspect for the murder of Dawn Halderson.
Because of juveniles involved, authorities would only read a prepared statement. But sources tell Eyewitness News this is not the first time the 14-year-old has had run-ins with the law. And it appears the shot fired at the group home was not the only shot fired that night. This house just down the street from the group home was riddled with bullets, and a 29-year-old woman who was renting a home directly across the street was also taken into custody.
For aiding an offender to avoid arrest, as she acted as an accomplice after the fact.
Now, authorities will not say what the connection is between the 29-year-old woman, Sandra Frederick, and the 14-year-old boy. They do, however, have one thing in common. Tonight, both are in custody, and both are expected to be charged on Monday. In addition to murder, the 14-year-old is expected to be charged with second-degree assault. He's accused of firing two shots at the driver of a pickup truck after the two apparently had an argument.
An overnight shooting on the north side of Minneapolis left a 22-year-old man dead. It happened around 2:15 in the morning in front of 1507 Thomas Avenue North. Police say Rodney Tommy Henry and two others were arguing just before Henry was shot to death. The suspects drove off but were later arrested. 29-year-old Elbert Green and 30-year-old Johnny Beal, both of Minneapolis, are in the Hennepin County Jail. They're expected to be charged with murder. Well, two Minneapolis police officers were the apparent targets of an early morning shooting.
Yeah, someone in the car opened fire while the officers were investigating a burglary report. Now, reporter Ross Curtis has the latest. He joins us now from the newsroom. Ross?
Well, Inga, Mike, it was supposed to be just a routine call to investigate the report of a burglary. The officers arrived just after midnight and began interviewing two men parked in a van at the scene. Little did they know they were about to become targets of a gunman.
It just happened so fast. Like I heard the shots in there. Next thing I know, cops are all over.
David Stensrud says he couldn't tell how close someone had come to hitting two policemen in front of his apartment. In fact, he and this woman who didn't want to be identified say it hardly sounded like gunfire.
It was just a bunch of loud bangs and little metal things hitting the ground, kind of hollow things, so then I figured they were gunshots.
But the two policemen saw the guns fired from close range out of a passing car carrying at least two people. Both officers escaped injury. In fact, one officer returned fire, shooting out a window in the car, a car one witness saw speeding away.
Well, I thought the car got shot because it was so smoky. So I guess it was probably from gunshots or something.
Police later found the car close to the scene, and two suspects were apprehended. Charges are now pending against 22-year-old Danielle Rosenblum and a 16-year-old male. The shooting took place right across the street from an elementary school, and neighbors say there are crack houses in the area. They are alarmed today that someone would shoot at police, especially in their neighborhood.
We were on the bottom floor here and thought of that happening. It was scary, yeah. And I've got 4 kids.
The suspects police were talking to were not hurt. The names of the officers involved won't be released until the investigation is concluded.
Ross, any idea of a motive for this shooting?
Well, no motive yet, but the suspects are being charged with second-degree assault, and more charges could follow.
Okay. Thanks, Ross.
Okay, Russ. Police in Duluth are looking for a couple accused of kidnapping a Minneapolis prostitute. The woman says they repeatedly beat her and forced her to do what she says were degrading acts. Authorities say the truck driver and his wife picked up the prostitute on a Minneapolis street, then took her to their Duluth apartment. The woman told police she was forced to perform sex acts on both captors and also drink urine. Later, the woman says the couple took her on the road with them, and she was able to escape in Sioux City, Iowa.
The threat of either a strike or bankruptcy hangs over the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra tonight. Last night, musicians stood outside the Ordway urging the audience to support them in their dispute with orchestra management. They've been asked to take an 18% pay cut and to fill in for Minnesota opera musicians who are involved in a labor dispute of their own.
Our feeling is that the bottom line should include opportunities for both the Minnesota opera musicians and the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra musicians to be involved in productions of the Minnesota Opera.
Negotiators met behind closed doors today, but no information about that meeting is being released.
Lately, we've heard a lot about legislative reform. Well, now a group of Minnesota House members has pledged not to accept perks from lobbyists. But House Speaker-designate Irv Anderson says the pledge isn't necessary and that he's not opposed to accepting a free meal. Anderson says a legislator's vote can't be bought by a meal or other gifts. So far, about 20 lawmakers have signed the No Perks documents.
Well, there's still much more ahead here on Eyewitness News.
The historic peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians is just days away, but there's more violence in the occupied West Bank today after Israeli soldiers shoot and kill 2 young Palestinians.
Then coming up a little later on in the newscast, find out why these kids are cheering for a hamster that's running circles around its competition.
And later, Notre Dame rallies behind their highly scrutinized leader. I'm Eric Iskelson. I'll have that story and more in sports.
Blockbuster video stores popping up all over, there's only one place where you'll find more movies. But it's a 1,875-mile drive. Blockbuster Video. Opening soon in Eagan and at Grand and Lexington.
The average bag of pet food weighs a lot. It's quite a load to lift from the grocery store to your car and then from your car to your house. The average phone, on the other hand, weighs just a little. And by lifting one of these, you'll never have to struggle with one of these again.
Now, you can have the leading brands of premium pet food and supplies delivered to your door. One call to Mequon Shores at 1-800-PET-2001, and Mequon Shores will set up an automatic home delivery schedule of pet food based on your pet's needs. Call now, and you'll receive 1/2 off your first home-delivered pet food order. Mequon Shores delivers quality premium pet foods. Convenience for you, plus Mequon Shores' exclusive money-back guarantee. Call now to save 1/2 on your first home delivery of pet food. 1-800-PET-2001. Mequon Shores, pet products that come when you call. 1-800-PET-2001.
One call to Mequon Shores, and you'll never run out of pet supplies again.
The 93 Ford truck and van model closeout sale is in full swing at Art Goebel Ford, Coon Rapids. Prices are as low as they've been for some time. All F-Series trucks and conversion vans have sale prices. Conversion vans from the biggest names, Walnut, Chariot, Eclipse, and others, starting as low as $18,995, also come with $1,000 rebates from Ford. Don't miss the truck and van closeout sale at Art Goebel Ford, Coon Rapids. For 39 years, simply the best.
Well, the Eyes of the World will be on Washington Monday. That's where a Middle East peace agreement will be signed.
Among those on hand, Yasser Arafat of the PLO, Israeli Prime Minister Rabin, plus former U.S. Presidents Bush and Carter. Now, leaders of the PLO and Israel have never met before in public. President Clinton today called the decision to meet Monday historic and courageous. Unfortunately, not everyone agrees. Protests on the occupied West Bank turned deadly when Israeli soldiers shot and killed 2 young demonstrators and wounded 8 others today. A key political figure in India was the target of assassins today. A car bomb exploded in central New Delhi, killing 8 people and injuring 36 others. Maninder Bitter escaped with shrapnel wounds. He's the president of the governing party's youth wing. Just last year, Bitter lost a leg in another bomb attack.
The search is on for a person behind a bomb scare at a Nevada casino. Late this afternoon, experts removed a large metal box from the Nugget Casino in Sparks, Nevada, that's near Reno, and took it out into the desert. The casino received a phone call yesterday demanding money in exchange for help finding the bomb. Gamblers fled the building with chips still in hand, and 7 city blocks were evacuated. Investigators still don't know if a bomb really is inside the locked box. Well, with a 6th time be the charm, a Sunday launch is scheduled for the Space Shuttle Discovery. 5 previous launches have been halted since mid-July due to computer problems, engine problems, and even a meteor shower. All systems now appear ready, and there's a 70% chance the weather will be good.
With the stroke of a pen today, President Clinton wiped out 125,000 government jobs. Mr. Clinton signed an executive order requiring every manager to oversee at least 15 workers. Some current ratios are as low as 1 to 4. No word yet on a deadline for those job cuts. Well, back here in the Twin Cities, it may have been a damp morning, but that didn't keep some people from getting out for a walk. Several people took part in the Walk for Wasson around Lake Phalen in St. Paul. It was a benefit to raise money for Father Wasson's orphan home in Mexico. The children of the home are known as Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos, or our little brothers and sisters. Many Minnesotans have befriended the Mexican orphans by donating their time and money.
That's a good program and a good accent there, Mike.
I took some Spanish in school.
Yeah, you can tell. As you know, today started out kind of gloomy, kind of wet.
Yeah, but the day wasn't a total washout. Chris Grote is standing by on our weather deck. He joins us there. Looks a little breezy there now.
Little windy, but the wind certainly blew away the clouds. It turned out to be a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Sunday looks pretty good. Cold fall airs in the forecast, too. The AccuWeather 5 forecast is coming up after a few commercials.
Thanks for taking a swing at Channel 5's Beat the Pro Golf Tournament. Your efforts, together with top athletes and Beat the Pro sponsors, helped raise nearly $19,000 for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
And we couldn't have done it without you. Hi, I'm Joe Schmidt. Next year, we are going to be back on 10 great golf courses for another year of Beat the Pro for a great cause.
Yeah! We're Channel 5 and we're on your side.
You know what shop till you drop really means? To put an outfit together, you've got to run all over the place till you're ready to drop. That's why I love the new Casual Corner. They specialize in great-looking work clothes that are no work to put together. If you want to browse, you browse in peace. If you want help, it's truly helpful. So, if you're tired of shop till you drop, then drop where you shop and come to Casual Corner. Because finding great work clothes shouldn't be work.
In the next 30 seconds, more people will buy Ford cars and trucks than any other. It's a fact. World-class quality is why 5 of the top 10 bestsellers in America are Fords. Like America's best-selling car, the Ford Taurus, now with up to $2,000 in savings. Or America's best-selling truck, the Ford F-Series, with up to $1,800 in savings. All of our bestsellers have big savings because it's Ford factory-authorized clearance time. How will you spend the next 30 seconds? If you're like many Americans, you'll spend them driving a new Ford. See your Northland Ford dealer today.
Everyone's looking for a good value these days. I'm no different. I buy bargain brands for some things, but when it's medicine I put in my body, especially a pain reliever, then I choose Advil. My doctor recommended it by name, and I've had it work on enough headaches to know it really does the job. The price? Advil can be only pennies per tablet, and if that's all it costs to help get rid of my pain, I call that real value. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I was out walking the dog this morning, got rained on, and little did I know at the time if I just would have waited an hour or so, it would have been a very nice day.
Turned into a great day. That's why Chris Grote is up on the weather deck now. It looks behind you kind of dark. Is it starting to turn into a bad day again?
Actually, just a few clouds on the southern horizon there. It's going to be pretty nice the next couple. Now, you'll hear me mention storms, rumbles of thunder, perhaps some scattered showers. Don't change any outdoor plans, especially into Sunday, into Monday. No all-day rains in the forecast, but another in these series of bumps of cool air that have been moving in for the past couple of weeks is going to be showing up on the weather map. Tower cam, please. Looking eastward. 6:14 outside. Temperatures in the 70s. Still clear out here. A nice stiff southeasterly breeze. Kind of funny. Southerly winds just aren't warm anymore. Guess we are moving on that slippery slope to winter. 73 outside in Minneapolis and St. Paul at last check. Alexandria is at 75, 78 in Marshall. A little warmer in southwestern Minnesota. Some of that warm air is going to move our way over the next 24 hours. At the top of the hour, the details. 72, we've lost one. The dew points in the dry 50s, 55% relative humidity. And the wind still blowing at 16 from the south. The barometric pressure is falling. Almanac data today, the high was 73, the low 45. Kind of a chilly morning, a chilly rain this morning. 6/100ths of an inch of precipitation at the airport. What was that? Little Fork, Minnesota, and northeastern Minnesota dropped down to 29. 2 mornings in a row of frost up there. 96 and 35 are the record. Sunsets at 7:30. Sounds early, doesn't it? Okay. Well, as it has over the past couple of days, a lot of changes in the weather going on. You get a couple of warm ones, and then the cool air blows in again. Showers showing up. Let's go ahead and roll the maps through, and we can see some satellite photography showing, well, with a push of the button, some brightening of the clouds over Minneapolis and St. Paul. Right about there. See those? Showers, thunder over eastern Wisconsin right now. Forecast map for tomorrow shows the leading edge of that cold air that will be pushing in during the afternoon. About a 1 in 3 chance of a scattered storm during the late day hours, and there could be some showers scattered about into tomorrow night. I don't think it's going to squash any outdoor plans. And then after that cool front blows through here, on Monday, a windy, raw day, could be some rainfall also. The AccuWeather 5 forecast. Overnight tonight, 57, basically clear skies. If you're living anywhere near the Iowa border, there's a couple of sprinkles down there. They should stay south of the Twin Cities. Into tomorrow morning, a mix of clouds and sun. Still kind of breezy, about 60 when you wake up. In the afternoon, look at this, 79. Warmest day in a few. Could be a few scattered thunderstorms. Again, don't worry about changing any outdoor plans. About a 1 in 3 chance of rain favoring the late day hours. Tomorrow night into Monday, better chance of some showers. Monday's going to be a raw day. 67 might even be a little optimistic. Here's the extended outlook looking into the entire week ahead. Tuesday, 61 with a lot of sun. Tuesday and Wednesday, a couple of glorious fall days coming up. And then as we warm up, there's a chance for showers. Vinny is sitting up here. He's the cameraman, and Mike, he's obviously looking at my hair being straightforward.
I was just going to make a comment that there's south wind and north wind, but this is the back of the head wind that he's got coming up there.
Yeah, not enough hairspray in the world today.
You're right. Thanks, Chris.
See ya.
Well, good news for Minnesota. The federal government plans to send the state $4.5 million to repair roads damaged by summer flooding. Now, a large portion of the money will be used in Blue Earth County, which was one of the areas hardest hit by floodwaters. It's along the Minnesota River. State Highway 93 from Le Sueur to U.S. Highway 169 suffered extensive damage, including a lot of shoulder washouts.
Well, we'll have a lot more news and information ahead for you right after Saturday night college football tonight. It's the end of an era for some local military men and women. We'll take you to special ceremonies as budget cuts force the closure of a Fort Snelling unit. That story and details of a car thief who accidentally left his resume behind right after football. Please join us. And up next, the college gridiron heats up as the football Gophers open up their home schedule at the Dome.
Yeah, we'll have an update on that. Plus, Super Saturday at the U.S. Open, and a new women's champion is crowned. Eric Kisselson has it all coming up next.
Imagine if everyone had a place to call home.
If there was no more hunger. If every child
had someone to look up. Had someone to look up to.
Imagine if everyone could find work. Imagine if kids had something to do.
Imagine if kids had a place to play. Imagine if kids had a place to play.
There was no more fear.
Imagine if everyone knew how to read.
Imagine what we can do together. This year, please give generously to United Way.
Wizards. They advise kings, conquer dragons, amaze us all. Now this wizard lends his name to Wizard of Oz, the new $2 instant game from the Minnesota State Lottery. The crystal ball could double your prize up to $20,000. That's how big-hearted wizards are. And when one says he'll turn you back into a human once you finish a commercial, he really means it, right? Come on, I was just kidding about your hat.
Boy, am I hungry.
I've got just the stuff for you. Perkins' new stuffed pita sandwiches. You can have a chicken fajita stuffed pita sandwich with grilled chicken, cheese, and salsa.
I'm really hungry.
And fries and slaw. Or a grilled steak stuffed pita with hollandaise.
Steak, yes.
Guess you really like that steak stuffed pita. How about some pie?
I'm stuffed. What kind?
New stuffed pita sandwiches. Perkins, breakfast, dinner, and everything in between.
Here it is, the Oldsmobile Bravada, the best kept secret in America. The Bravada is tough enough to hold a lot of firewood. It has all-wheel drive, and it'll pull a pretty big boat. But it's comfortable enough to take to the Ordway. It's big enough to take the whole gang to the game, or to caddy your whole team to the course. And right now, you can get $1,500 cash back. Now is the time. The sale is on.
The Golden Gophers Marching Band played the famous Minnesota Rouser to warm up the crowd today along Nicollet Mall. It was all part of a pep rally for the first Gopher home football game tonight. That's against the Indiana State Sycamores. And, of course, that game is underway again tonight. It feels like football weather. It's just, we're ready for it, you know?
And, you know, when you circle the schedule about wins and everything else at the beginning of the season, you put Indiana State in a pen. Right. It can be permanent, too. It's a W.
Big old W.
I hope. Yeah. I hope. But for the second straight week, the football Gophers are taking on a state college. Only tonight at the Dome, Minnesota is hoping there will be a big, big difference between Indiana State and last week's opponent, Penn State. Right now, early on in the first quarter, the Gophers have just kicked the field goal. They took their opening drive down the field and made it 3-zip. As I mentioned, this should only be a matter of time. We'll have highlights for you at 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, third-ranked, rather off the field, a new book will tell you that there is plenty under the tarnished dome of the Golden Dome. But on the field today, Notre Dame sparkled against third-ranked Michigan. Irish coach Lou Holt seems to be running from many ghosts as a new result of a book, but today he let his Irish do the running. Second quarter, Notre Dame's Mike Miller fields a punt. Watch him negotiate himself through all the traffic. 56 yards later, he's into the end zone, and the Irish led 17-3. Sloppy tackling, to be sure. It looked as if Michigan would trail by only a touchdown at half, but in the last few seconds, keep an eye on quarterback Kevin McDougal. No one's open, so he dashes 11 yards for the score as 11th-ranked Notre Dame dumps Michigan in Ann Arbor 27-23. Well, things went from happy to unhappy to happy again in Happy Valley today for Penn State. Lions led 21-7 over Southern Cal. SC came back to make it 21-20 as Johnny McWilliams hauls one in late. SC goes for the win by calling the same play on the extra point, but that time McWilliams can't haul it in, but Penn State holds on for a 21-20 win to move to 2-0 on the season. Elsewhere, games involving Big Ten teams today. Iowa got by Iowa State, but not by much. Missouri slaughtered Illinois 31-13. 31-3, I think. Indiana over Northern Illinois, 28-10. Purdue beat Western Michigan, 28-13. And Michigan State dumped Kansas, 31-14. Well, they haven't played against each other yet, but the MIAC is in full swing non-conference-wise, that is. Over at Augsburg today, the Aggies kicked off their 93 campaign against Huron, South Dakota. What a better way to break into new turf than with a record-setting 89-yard touchdown pass from Pete Cutchess to Jeff Capey. And just like that, the Aggies were on the board. Their defense was not too kind to the Huron quarterback as Ron Larson and Bob Anderson meet at the quarterback for the sack. Augsburg had 3 long touchdowns called back. Well, this thing may have been worse, but they open up with a 22-6 win. Elsewhere in the MIAC this afternoon, well, it was Bethel losing to Central Iowa by a score of 38-28. Carleton got by Northwestern. It was Hamlin big over Mount Scenario. St. John's walloped Mayville, and St. Olaf beat Luther 24-13. Moorhead State wins the Battle of Moorhead, beating Concordia 21-0. Augustana 35-zip over Gustavus. And River Falls beat St. Thomas 34-16. Well, for there being just 21 ranked teams between them, you tell me how there was 57 points between top-ranked Florida State and 21st-ranked Clemson today. Second quarter, FSU, well, they really added insult to a lot of injury today. Derek Brooks with a big-time pickoff here. No one's going to touch him. 57 to zip Florida State over Clemson, the final. Elsewhere, top 10 action from today. Number 2, Alabama, a winner over Vanderbilt, but not by much. It was Nebraska big over Texas Tech. Texas A&M losing to Oklahoma 44-14. Colorado defeated Baylor 45-21. They call it Super Saturday at the U.S. Open. The women's finals and the men's semis all wrapped into one at Flushing Meadow. In the women's championship match, it didn't take long to run her third U.S. Open title. On the men's side, America's last chance for any title hardware is Pete Sampras, who scored out against Alexander Volkov today in one semi. Sampras with 16 aces today, none bigger than match point there. He'll advance to take on France's Cedric Piolinum tomorrow in the championship. For the time being, the Atlanta Braves have taken over the lead in the National League West, but not by any of their doing. St. Louis Cardinals beat the Giants today by a score of 3-1. As we run down American League scores from the contenders this afternoon, Cleveland beat Boston 9-3. Toronto breaks out of their slump big, beating California 9-5. For more than 5,000 fans at Municipal Stadium last night, it was a chance to forget that the Twins are out of the pennant race. But for the Saints, the championship of the Northern League was as major league as you could get.
Just absolutely fantastic. St. Paul has just welcomed us with open arms, and it's beyond anything that we had really dreamt about.
All right, Rob Ryan has a 4-stroke lead of the Canadian Open heading into tomorrow's Brad Bryant, 4th round. And can you imagine if the Saints lost? How rowdy things?
Oh, that's terrific. What a great way to wrap up the inaugural season.
Yeah, just phenomenal, really.
I finally saw a game last night, and what a game too.
Picked a good one.
Yeah, I sure did.
All right.
Thanks. Well, still ahead, we'll show you how some St. Paul residents spent this Saturday.
They're enjoying a parade along Selby Avenue and watching what some may call a rat race. We'll explain when we return.
Tonight's Eyewitness News Weekend Sports Report is brought to you by the Men's Wearhouse.
You know, I run into people all the time that have never shopped at a Men's Wearhouse store, and I say the same thing to everybody. We offer many of the same brands, the same designers that you'll find in department stores at 20 to 30% less every day. Give us 1 minute. Just come into our store and look at the labels and look at the prices for 60 seconds, and you'll become a Men's Wearhouse customer. I guarantee it.
The Men's Wearhouse. Call 1-800-776-SUIT.
Hey, let's make Mama coffee. What do you want to say?
I love you and you're pretty.
And?
It's a readable lamp.
Anything else?
You're pretty.
Again?
It's important.
Introducing American Greetings Create-A-Card.
You're sorry? I'm pretty?
Now you can make a card that says just what you want. American Greetings Create-A-Card.
Nobody makes a card for that, except me.
When you work one job, grab a quick lunch, a quicker dinner, and move on to job number 2, how are you going to spell relief? That's a big relief you can feel, because Rolaids absorbs 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid to stop heartburn fast. So for millions, there's only one way to spell 100% relief. Rolaids, spelled 100% relief.
You are looking at the future of trash bags. Ruppy's Sure Strength. Concentrated plastic bags that are twice as strong, yet use up to a third less plastic. So they cost a lot less. And they're better for the planet. Any planet. Ruppy's Sure Strength. It's more for less.
Finally tonight, the weather cooperated this afternoon, and it turned out to be a good day for an outdoor festival.
Yeah, that's what some folks in St. Paul were doing today at the Selby Parade and Festival. Now, take a look at these little girls. They sure know how to move. Sheesh, a lot of energy there. What about these youngsters? They actually tried their darndest to get hamsters to run in a race while in a plastic ball, but most of them, as you can see, ended up going the wrong way. I don't think that hamster racing is going to make a run for horse racing or dog racing or anything like
Turtles are much more dependable, I
Yes.
think, than turtle races.
Or is it the hare? One of those two. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Eyewitness News. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, we'll be on a little bit late tonight. We've got a great football game coming up on ABC between Washington and Ohio State. Meantime, update from the Dome, still 3-0 Gophers against Indiana State. Have a good night. We'll see you after the football game tonight.
Good night.
If you see news happening and have your Cellular One phone in hand, make a free call to Star TV 5. You'll be in touch with the Eyewitness News tip line.
From the Halloween snowstorm of 1991 to the Midwest floods in the summer of 1993, if you've lived in Minnesota for even a few years, you've just about seen it all. Hi, I'm Dave Dahl, meteorologist here at Channel 5. There are certain weather patterns that can be very frightening. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, I was terrified of some of the weather around me. When I was about 10 years old, I witnessed 6 tornadoes come through the Twin Cities, and they did a lot of damage. It scared me and many other people, but because of that fear, I wanted to learn more about it. And that's why I started to study the weather and eventually became a meteorologist. Today, I'll share some of the things I've learned so that you too can understand why the weather does what it does, as we explore everything from rainbows to radar. Meteorologist, a big word. I know a lot of you probably heard that term before, meteorologist, but how many of you know what a meteorologist is?
Person who studies the weather.
Person who studies the weather. And a meteorologist predicts the weather, actually.
Feels like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes fast when speed counts. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a...
Get the scoop from Burt Reynolds on The Tonight Show, Monday.
Here's one elevator ride Sammy'll never forget. Neither will you folks. Next time on Cheers.
Saturday at 10:35 on KARE 11.
What makes a Dairy Queen